Photography Daily, the assignment.
The start of the week, and it's assignment day, where our special guest sets a photography challenge or a way to think about your pictures for the next week when you make them. Though, of course, if you're listening to this on any other day but a Monday, don't overly worry. The challenge starts from the day you hear it for 7 days. If that's a Wednesday, well, Wednesdays are the new Mondays, if you catch my drift. It's a challenge for everybody, whatever interests you have, whatever type of camera you photograph with, and that includes the, well, not so humble smartphone. It's really just about the picture that you see. As always, there's a show page on the website photographydaily.show, and I'd love you to share the pictures you make for this challenge, which I'll then upload to the show page for this edition. What we're building every Monday is a real catalogue of inspiring challenges. End of last week, I had a chat with a former guest, the environmental photographer Nick Brandt. A planning meeting, if you like, for his assignment, which is being recorded next month. It'll be the first of our month-long assignments too, since it's quite the challenge. So a few alternative assignments are on the horizon. Of course, if you know of a photographer who sets assignments as part of their workshops, they just might like to meet our audience and us and set one bespoke for us. So do let me know by writing to studio@photographydaily.show with any ideas. studio@photographydaily.show. It's always great to hear from you. And before we meet our special guest, my thanks to our wonderful patrons and mpb.com who sponsor this show, the number one company in the UK, the US and Europe, with bases in Brighton and Brooklyn and Berlin when it comes to buying and selling and trading used camera kit online. It's a safe place to do business with guarantees upon what you buy. This Friday, my guest is Alex Dawson, who'll be talking about something we haven't really discussed in any great detail. We've touched on it, but we've never really had anything in, I was going to say great depth, excuse the pun, underwater photography. Oh, Neil, which in some of the places he dives will reveal, I have no doubt, some extraordinary stories. I'm not sure, for example, I could easily dive beneath the decks of a sunken ship within its cargo deck, awash with secrets. Yes, I had to put that one in there too. Also, on a more serious level, I want to ask Alex about shark finning, which is the act of removing fins from sharks and discarding the rest of the shark back into the ocean. This, what to me seems like ghastly and unnecessary act, is banned in many places around the world. You'll be surprised, though, to hear some of the places it isn't. And the sharks are often still alive when they're discarded, but without their fins. So it's something that Alex is campaigning vigorously against, and I want to find out where he is with his thoughts on that one. Much to discuss with my guest, Alex Dawson. Right, let's meet our guest for today, setting you a challenge for the new week. He's a photographer who's been making pictures for 45 years, a real friend to this show as well. He mentors photographers keen to shoot film for the first time or get reacquainted with film in the darkroom. If you don't shoot film, though, do not worry. Jim's 3 assignments that he's set, the first airing now, here, may ask you to think like a film photographer, but you'll be able to shoot them with a digital camera all the same. Let's meet Jim Sollows.
The assignment.
Jim, part of what you're assigning us today has to do with some traditional values of seeing. And it's brought home by a conversation I had at a wedding only a couple of weeks ago, where a guest was saying just how easy it is to be a photographer today because you can just, quote, hold the button down and one of them is bound to be okay. Hold me back. So with that in mind, what do the next 7 days hold for us? What's this one called?
So the assignment is called Fleeting Moment. And what I want people to do is to go out with their camera and capture a moment in time something that happens very briefly. It could be something like a bird landing on the railing of a wharf and capturing the moment that the bird's feet touch the wood with their wings still in motion.
Wow.
Or it could be a person walking down the street, walking past a sign or an obstacle that is an amusing juxtaposition, or maybe a pedestrian and catching that moment in stride when the heel of one leg is touching the ground and the toe of the following one is just about to leave the ground, catching a very fleeting moment in time and photographing it. But the trick is to shoot it as a single image. So no burst mode, no sitting there and shooting 100 frames and then going out and picking the appropriate one. Because with film, we didn't have that option. We only had 36 exposures. So the key here is to look at your image, look at your scene, think about what you want to accomplish, and just waiting for the right instant in time to capture that shot. And one of the, I'll supply a picture for an example. I live in a small village and we have a train that goes right through the center of town. And the trains whiz by at a particularly good rate of speed. And of course, I'm usually carrying a film camera. And I noticed as the train was whizzing by, in between the gaps of the cars, you could clearly see the life going on the other side of the tracks. And I wondered, could I, in one frame, capture that gap? The motion of the train on both sides with the gap.
Wow. Now that's a mixture of patience and skill, isn't it?
I'd love to say it was all skill, but it was focusing on the timing of what I was seeing in front of me and timing my shutter finger. I got it in one shot, and I can't tell you how elated I was when I developed that picture and I saw I got it.
Can I ask if you practiced on various trains going through first, not physically by pressing the shutter, but by looking at the scene thinking, there, but not physically making a picture, but almost rehearsing for the time the actual train came through?
Not really, because it was very impromptu. It's just something I was standing there waiting for one of these annoying trains to pass, and I'm looking at it, and it just came to me suddenly. Yeah. It's not something I had planned.
So, no burst mode, single shot, think like film. No cheeky, oops, I held the button down for those of us with cameras who have the ability to fire off a bazillion frames at a time. You'll only be cheating yourself, as my maths teacher used to say prior to exams. Really focus the mind on this one. It feels to me, Jim, like this is a frame about movement of some kind, because a single shot of a flower not moving is not so much a challenge in itself to the extent you're asking, unless of course that flower has a rain droplet that falls from it and you capture it between petal and ground. But this is wonderful, Jim. Watch, breathe, capture, and you have 7 days to bring this home.
Sounds good.
And that's our challenge for the week. I'll be delighted to see what you produce and would love to show them on today's corresponding show page on the website, photographydaily.show. Music on the show is from artlist.io. My thanks to Emily Renier, Neil Ford and Andrea Gilpin for helping behind the scenes. And I look forward to photographing with you, hearing from you and talking with you on the Photo Walk.
The Assignment is a Loading Zone production.